Hey guys, it's Maria Park and welcome to Approach the Nerd. And this episode stream, we are talking about the Owl House season 2, episode 6. Basically, hunt for the Palisman because it is Palisman Adoption Day at Hexside. As I called it last week, because we got a really cool Lumity episode. Amity was not going to be in the next episode. I kind of feel at this point it's a contractual thing with Disney. You can't have too much Lumity, so it's got to be bi-weekly. So hopefully she'll be in the next episode. But yeah, we got a lot of cute moments with Amity and Luz, so we're not going to have any Amity at all. As a matter of fact, when Luz was at the beginning of this episode, she's trying to still get the Echo Mouse to divulge what it ate from the magical diary of Philip, the first human to enter the Boiling Isles. And right now, the Echo Mouse still isn't doing anything. So she goes to school because, of course, Ida's like, you're going to get your staff today. Traditionally, they would get the wood to try and basically make their own Palisman staffs, but apparently, the wood for that purpose is very scarce. Like it's very, rare. So they decide to enlist the help of the Queen Bat to bring in Palismans for adoption. So everybody gets to pick their own. We saw, Willow and Gus, and their Palismans are adorable and very appropriate for who they are. Like everybody gets a Palisman except for Luz. And the reason is as the Queen Bat states, Luz's conviction on being a witch and the reasons for where she's going in the future are not clear. Which is true because Luz has no idea what she wants to do. She knows she wants to be a witch, but she doesn't know if she wants to stay in the Boiling Isles, eventually forever and practice being a witch. She doesn't know if she wants to go back to the human world and use what she learned in the human world, even though technically you're not supposed to be able to do magic in the human realm. So Luz doesn't really know what she wants to do outside of being a witch. She never thought it through. So none of the Palisman bond to her, even though throughout the episode, they tried to make it look like this little Red Robin did. But it actually was not for her. And I knew, like, as soon as we saw an interaction with the Golden Guard, that I had a feeling that it was gonna be his Palisman. I don't know why, but I felt that was gonna happen. I didn't think that Luz was gonna end up with that little Red Robin, because as much as that little Red Robin was around her, at some point it should have bonded with her, throughout the episode, and it never did. It made its mind up on who it wanted, and we'll talk about that more in a second. But last thing about Amity, in the show, they, basically Luz said, Amity didn't come to school today. And then, she was told that, Amity stayed home. Now, there's one of two theories plot wise why she did this. The first one being she already dyed her hair purple. She could have been grounded. Plus, it's the Palisman Adoption Day. Maybe her parents aren't into that. They're very strict and they have a career path set out in stone for what they want to achieve with Amity. And I think her getting her own Palisman at Adoption Day at Hexside is not on their list of progression. So to me, that's why she wasn't at school. The other reason is she's still gay panicking over kissing Luz on the cheek. So one of those two reasons. But I still stand by the whole Disney contractual thing. Can't have too much Lumity. It's too gay. So we have learned a lot. So, like I said, Luz did not bond with any of the Palisman. We got to see Principal Bump and his creepy little demon guy, who's actually the little creepy demon thing that's always around him is actually his Palisman. And he has like herbal essence commercial hair. Like it's so weird. He pulled his thing off and then you see this long flowing luscious black hair. I'm like, I was waiting for the commercial for the herbal essence music to start playing. So I did not know Principal Bump had all that going on. So things were learned in this episode. So Luz decides to take the Red Robin back because it hid in her bag, but when she puts it back into the little containment area, it gets lifted in the air. And what we learned is it's actually being taken by the Golden Guard, who's trying to take basically all of the Palismans back to his uncle. Now we know that the Emperor Belos is Hunter's uncle, to try and help with this curse. So Principal Belos is being cursed by some kind of demonic thing. I don't know if it was a Titan. I don't know what it was, but it looks horrible. And it still has me wondering. I have so many theories. Emperor Belos, I still believe, is actually Philip. I don't know why I believe that. I believe he is the first human. I think he wanted to harness the magic. He talks about what wild magic has done to him and his family and how it's basically destroyed his family. For some reason, I believe he tried to harness the magic to get home to the human realm, and instead it deformed him or mutated him into whatever the heck it is he is now. And he uses talismans to keep himself in check, a lot like Ida does with her, potions. So, I mean, it's a thing. We learned the Golden Guard in this series, who's supposed to be a teen prodigy, has no actual magic ability whatsoever. All of his powers come from a staff, just like we've seen with Belos. And he even says in this series that his entire family has not been able to use magic. So we have witches who are from literally the Boiling Isles who cannot use magic. And that also cues me into the fact that he may be half human. And even though he was adopted by Emperor Belos, we still don't know the full story. We got a little bit of snips of it, but, he was saved and adopted by Emperor Belos and made his nephew. I don't think that they are not related. I think they actually are related. And it would be really interesting if there could be a lot going on. It could be, if they're not blood related, then Emperor Belos may be the reason that Hunter, and we learned the Golden Guard's name is Hunter, that Hunter's family was killed and had a lot to do with, pretty much the wild magic. We also learn that the same glyphs that Luz uses were actually started in the Savage Ages. And we learned this because Hunter is a huge nerd. So he's like, yeah. And he wants to investigate it. But, of course, wild magic is forbidden. So he starts telling her about it. And then he just kind of cuts himself off. But the interaction between Luz and Hunter is interesting. So they go from enemies to frenemies, basically. But they're basically, Luz has his staff. She realizes that he can't do anything really without his staff, magic wise. They have to work together because Kikamura, who is one of the generals in the Emperor's army, wants to deliver the talismans to the Emperor personally because she's envious that the Golden Guard keeps getting all the best missions, and she's also, I guess, maybe feeling the nepotism, being that he is the nephew of Emperor Belos. So she's decided she's going to go get him and then just kill him. And she has this creature that she, this kind of dragon hand creature that she uses to try and hunt him down, and she controls via a whistle, which actually ends up helping Luz in the end get all of the talisman back. But Luz and Hunter's, kind of friendship is just very interesting. They had to rely on each other. They had to trust each other. They opened up a little bit to each other. And I'm telling you right now, before we did this stream, I've already seen people coming up with ship names, like on Reddit. And I was like, oh, they've already have a ship. And, it's a thing. And now I feel like it's going to be, the battle of the ships, because we already have established Lumity, even though they're still kind of in their, gay panic phase. It is very apparent that Luz is into Amity, and Amity has always been into Luz. We saw this in season 1. And I don't know what is going to happen with that, but I know there's going to be a lot of drama because of who Amity's family is and what their plans are for her. It's just a lot of almost Romeo and Juliet, or should I say Juliet and Juliet, things going on with them, very star-crossed. And I'm hoping that they do find, a resolution that makes everybody happy, because I think everyone will actually explode if Lumity does not become a thing. But again, like I said, they have come up with an entire ship just based on this episode, because to be fair, they're both nerds. They're both wigging out on, the glyphs and wanting to know more about the Savage Ages. They want to know more about, how magic works in general. There even is a part of this episode where, Kikamura and him are fighting, and he ends up saving Luz from some of the shots that Kikamura is shooting at them. And I know that I knew as soon as I saw that, I saw the shippers I saw it. I saw it coming out. I'm like, oh, we got a new ship. And I'm like, not to be fair, I do not think that Dana is going to get rid of Lumity because I think that it would break the internet. But I will say I do understand why people would think that Hunter and Luz would be a cute couple too, because they could be, and Luz is bisexual. So she could really swing either way. But will we actually see this? Will it be a love triangle? I don't know if that's something that we will see. But what I do know is Principal Bump has hair. Emperor or Belos, our Uncle Belos, I really do think is Philip. I just think he's Philip. I think he's a very aged, maybe that's how he gave himself immortality, is by doing what he did with wild magic. I really feel like that is a thing. I think that we've got a lot of, this is very Harry Potter-ish. There's a lot of Harry Potter, things going on in this, but there's also other elements. I mean, we literally could be looking at a betrayal story between the person who actually is the great grandfather and not the uncle that Hunter thinks he is. Basically, his actions destroyed his entire family. I remember earlier in season 2, I said that it would be cool if, Golden Guard ended up being somebody who could go to school or Hexside with Luz. And I think that that's still applicable if he gets into glyphs, because I have a feeling that glyph magic is going to be something that we already know that, that Ida's doing it, Lilith is doing it, of course Luz is doing it. So I mean, just adding on another glyph user, it kind of makes sense that he would be training at Hexside alongside of Luz and her friends. And I think that what might happen is, and I really hope that this does not happen, is there's a little red robin palisman that goes to Emperor Belos's castle and flies into the window of Hunter's room, does not get killed or sacrificed in order to, basically be used as a temporary fix for Belos's problem. I think if that does happen, that is going to probably push Hunter completely to the other side. I don't want them to sacrifice the Robin, but that might be what happens. And that would really suck. That would really, really suck if that became a thing. But that may be what we need, because the story's not completely dark, but it's not completely good either. So, yeah, that would be a thing. But yeah, Golden Guard, he, to me, is he has the pointed ears, but he looks half human. He even has the same color hair as Philip. So I think he is definitely a descendant, half human. His family can never use magic, which makes no sense. He is very blindly loyal to his Uncle Belos, but he also is extremely interested in the Savage Ages and wild magic and is very impressed with the glyphs. So I think there's a lot to that. But Emperor Belos is key. I think he is the first human. I think he is Philip. I think it was his diary that he donated. And I think that he experimented on himself in order to try and give himself magic to get home. And it like basically morphed him into something and mutated him into something else. And I don't know. Another dark theory, this is a very dark, is that Uncle Belos is keeping Hunter around, who I still think is a descendant, as an extra body, like trying to figure out a way of taking himself out of his body and putting his consciousness into Hunter's, because he's related, extending his time and potentially getting rid of the curse. That would be very dark. Now, would that happen? Probably not. But I mean, you never know. I mean, it would be an interesting plot twist if they did do that. But yeah, I'm excited for what's happening. I'm excited for episode 7. I'm really this season has been very cool to me. I love what's happening. I wish we still got more Gus and Willow, especially since we know that season 3 is going to be cut short, only 4 22-minute episodes, which is sad. And then we're not getting anything else unless by some miracle they do green light a spin-off series or movies or something of that nature. After season 3, we have to say goodbye to this amazing show. And I hate that. I think there's so much they could do with it. And I hate that they're going to say goodbye. But yeah, lots of theories. I don't know which one is right. But I'm sticking to my guns that I believe Emperor Belos is actually Philip. And I believe that instead of this kid being his nephew, I believe this kid is his great grandson or grandson or whatever, however old he is. I really do think that that is something that could potentially be true, because Belos is not a very, he's not a very honest and transparent person. So, I mean, it's not like he would tell him that he was the grandfather. And he does say, in this episode, that, wild magic got his family into trouble in the first place. And I think it's because of him. He messed around and he caused all of this. So it's a thing. It is a thing. All right. How are you doing, Mercenary? Hello, a sweater weather confusion. Hi, Ito. How are you? Yay, you made it to the stream. I know work's been killing you. The Palismans gave me so many Pokemon vibes. I can see that. I was getting Pokemon vibes. Hunter reminds me of so many characters. A little Sokka, a little Zuko, he's always that side character. Well, I think more Zuko would probably be a better comparison in terms of the main character. But yeah, I always have different opinions when I see this. Like just them getting the Palismans, I was like, oh, this is how they're in Diagon Alley getting their wands. It's just really cool. I love the elements that they take. And if you are desperate for more Harry Potter or Fantastic Beasts content, then the Owl House is a really good, if not alternate, kind of experience for all the Harry Potter lovers. So, and like I said, they do put a lot of stuff in from different shows. There's a lot of things you can pull in there like Pokemon. So I'm not complaining about that at all. I always find it enjoyable when lighthearted animated shows can portray a plot that is definitely dark. Yeah. I love that they can do it with humor. I love it. I love the fact that at the, when they were on the ship blimp thing, that Hunter or Golden Guard was literally humming the theme song to the show. I was like, that's pretty cool. I'm breaking the fourth wall. Belo's voice actor apparently considers his character more misunderstood than evil. That's probably because he's Philip and he got stuck in this world that wasn't his, and he had to do a lot of stuff to survive that you wouldn't normally have to if you were in your own world. So I can see that. The relationship with Hunter and Belos is slightly abusive. Oh, absolutely. 1,000,000,000% abusive. I mean, there's no way to misinterpret that. It's I was thinking about it. I mean, he's definitely using Hunter a lot. And I kind of feel sadly, Hunter doesn't know anything else. I don't know how long he's been with Emperor Belos or Uncle Belos. Was it since he was a baby? I mean, I really would love to know more about that specifically. I think that would probably give us more insight onto exactly what happened with them, or at least with the family itself. Because I mean, he said the family was gone or messed up. So I don't know, but that's what I love about this show. It gives you so many avenues of theories to have. Belos has always been someone I consider to be off. In my season 1 reviews, when I was doing those, I kept saying that I thought Belos was human because I never saw him use magic outside of his staff. And now here we have Hunter, who can only use magic with the staff. So I mean, it makes sense if Hunter's family could never use magic, the Emperor Belos can't use magic as well. So I mean, there's a lot to that. There is a lot to that. And then the whole new ship of I think they're calling themselves Luzters versus Lumity. I am very curious to see how this plays out. This could be very funny to me because, people in their ships, they get toxic. So I'm really curious to see what happens with this after today. I looked at that and I was like, oh Lord, I see it coming. I want to bust a Belos' helm. Yeah, that would be cool. Must protect Red Robin at all costs. I absolutely agree with that. I am super, super addicted to this Red Robin already. And I'm I can't. I love that he chose it chose Hunter and didn't choose Luz, because at the end of the episode, we see that, Mama Ida and King literally went and robbed a garden center for the wood for Luz to be able to create her own, talisman herself, which she's going to think about because she doesn't know what she wants. So it makes sense. It makes sense that a talisman is not attracted to you because you are indecisive. With Gus is I just basically want to, become a human ambassador or become a witch ambassador for the human world and open the world up to giraffes. And then the mouse was like, yes, and Lucy's like, I want to be a witch. And it's like, and it's absolutely hilarious. Belos probably has a curse like Ida's. I think that he did. I think whatever it is very powerful, could be controlling him. I mean, all of the evil deeds that he does may not actually be his fault. It may be the thing that is, he's cursed with. And then I wonder if this curse was passed to every member of the family. Like, would eventually Hunter get it? Because I'm absolutely convinced that Hunter is blood related to Belos because Belos is really Philip. I remember Zuko and his dragon, so many similarities to Hunter. Yep, absolutely. Ships within fan bases do tend to get toxic. They really do. And I'm waiting for this one because this is the sensitive one. We do have a bisexual lead character who could literally go either way. And they've been setting up Lumity. I love Lumity. And I think that if they went the way of Luzter, yeah, the internet might break. They might break. I don't know what they would do to poor Dana or what they would say to poor Dana if she did that. So I don't know. Like I said, it's a thing. But again, that's just one small aspect of this very cool story. Like, I'm not saying that the Lumity thing and Hunter and Luce potentially being friends or whatever is not cool, but the mystery part of this is cool because we learned something new about the Boiling Isles. I mean, they're referencing the Savage Ages. We learn something new every week, and that's what I love about the show. You're never it's not a filler episode per se. There is always something new. So it's a thing. One of the theories that I kind of find interesting is a possible connection of the series canon to Gravity Falls. Yeah, and Amphibian and a bunch of others. I want to say they have like little Easter eggs of all the shows in the Owl House. You just have to look for them. I haven't personally. Somebody said they saw an Amphibia guidebook in the library episode in season 1 when they first, I think it was season 1 when they first went to the library. Some child was reading a How to Survive an Amphibia or something like that book. I have to go and find it, but I didn't see it. But something that I wrote or saw somebody write on a board, so which is cool. More than likely, they have something from Gravity Falls somewhere in the Owl's house, or a reference, maybe a character from the show that looks the same. I mean, it could be anything. Gravity Falls had premature end, in my opinion. I agree. I saw Sprig in Hunter's room. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure there are tie-ins everywhere. I mean, if I had the successful cartoon or animated series and I had a second one, I would definitely put Easter eggs all over the place in my first show. So that makes sense. That makes absolute sense. But yeah, I mean, overall though, I will say this is probably controversial, but I love the Owl House more than I love Gravity Falls, and I like Gravity Falls a lot. So I'm so sad it's ending in the season 3. We have season 3, 4 22-minute episodes. That's like what? I think they're 44 minutes each. So pretty much round up a little bit of 2 hours. I don't know what's going to happen. I know that Dana herself did say she wanted to extend the series into like crossovers or like spin-offs or something like that. I don't know if Disney will let her do it. There's a lot of controversy behind the show itself because a lot of people feel like because of the LGBT content, that's why Disney is not giving us a full season 3 and why it's going off the air. I personally think that Disney does do a lot of shady things. And I personally think even if it's not an LGBT thing, it could be that they don't like to have cartoons on for more than 3 or 4 seasons. I've seen a lot of shows that are really good that they just get rid of for no reason. It's like the Netflix of animation. So, you get to Netflix and you get really hooked on a show and then they just cancel the next season before you even get to it. So I don't know, but a lot of people are speculating that it could be because of Lumity, that Disney is canning it. And if that is true, that is pretty sad. So that's a thing. Is there a reason why series like this end so quick? Stupidity. I'm like, it's what it is. Wolverine and X-Men was pulled after one show. Yeah, like I said, they have a horrible track record for a company that primarily has made its mark in animated movies and animation to just create our like license a very good show from a content creator and then just axe it, even when it's really popular among fans and people are talking about. The amount of people who talk about the Owl House is a good indicator of how many people watch this series. And so I don't know why they're doing that. I don't get it at all. But again, it's a thing. And maybe somebody else will pick it up. You never know. Maybe we'll get Hulu, or I hope not Netflix, but another streaming service that will want to, carry on with the show and give us a season 4. I would not be, upset about it. Or maybe they can do a spin-off series where the characters are a little older and we deal with them more as adults. That would also be very cool. But probably not. Probably not. Hi, Malachi. I think Belos is trying to become the Titan and rule over Earth and the Boiling Isles. Oh, I know he is, but I don't know if Belos is doing it himself or if he's cursed and, the Titan's taking over, because I feel like he's 2 personalities, but I really believe that Belos originally is Philip. I think he's the first human of the Boiling Isles. I mean, and that's why he wanted that human portal, the portal back to the human realm, like fixed. Not just so he can take over. I really believe that he wants to get back home, which would be interesting. One thing I like about Gravity Falls and Owl House is the fact that they give you enough theory craft, almost like a Dark Souls game. Yep, I agree with that. Have you heard of the series Y: The Last Man? I have. I have not seen Y: The Last Man, but I have seen a trailer for it. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I actually forgot anything. I was very happy to see the Bat Queen, by the way, because it's been a minute. I don't know where all her babies are. Who's babysitting them? Did she drop them off at Edith's house again? Because I'm like, where are they? Where are they? But yeah, I think outside the theories, because the episodes are so short, and they're without commercials are about 23 minutes long, maybe 22. We don't have a ton of content, but they do put a lot of things in for what they put. And I believe there's a lot of Easter eggs I probably missed that if you didn't see it, they're gone in a second. They could have been very pertinent to the plot. But I still reeling over Principal Bump's hair. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting him to just whip out that hair like he was in a freaking commercial, for herbal essence. I'm like, it was very weird, but I'm not hating on it. If Owl House is being cut due to the representation, that would be really depressing. I agree. Like I said, I try until I know for certain. I never like to speculate on this stuff. I'm just saying that what I've seen people say about, like, I know he was called out, or Disney was called out over Pride for always basically monetizing, everything Disney for Pride. Like they have shirts, they have bags. I think they had a Target line. They make so much money during Pride Month, but yet they don't do a lot to contribute to Pride, like especially in terms of their content. Like I remember the big debate over, Frozen and making Elsa lesbian, and how people are like, you can't do that in Disney. And Disney didn't do it, even though in some of the articles I read, the showrunner was open to the idea, or the head, not showrunner, the series, that movie producers were actually open to it. But I have a feeling that Disney was like, nope, can't do that. So again, I don't know. I don't know what their full stance on LGBT is. That is up for you to interpret and for them to come out and battle in court, I guess, because I know they have court cases as well with staff members who feel like they were kind of shafted for promotions when they came out. And so it's a thing. Bat Queen is effectively creepy, very J-horror design. She really is. She really is. She's very creepy looking. Disney is definitely shady when it comes to representation. They do well enough, but there's nothing stopping them from doing so much better. I agree. Questionable choices were made with the Ancient Ones, Mantis, and many others. Yep, I can't disagree with that either. So yeah. And all in all, it could be a Disney thing. Disney could be the reason that this is going off. I mean, maybe Dana had to agree to shorten season 3 to even have the Lumity moments that she's having now. I don't know. I mean, if you look back at The Legend of Korra, with Kurosami. People think that those two characters were just thrown together, and the showrunners always wanted to they had the idea of putting them together the entire time, but Nickelodeon was like, no. And it was only the last episode they were even kind of hint to them being together. They couldn't kiss each other. There was no kissing. It was holding hands and staring at each other. So like, it's a thing. It is a thing. Hi, Nicholas. How are you? But yeah, overall, good episode for the Owl House. I was very impressed with it. And like I said, I want to know more in episode 7. I need to know where this story is going because I feel like it is getting a little darker. This is definitely a darker scene than the last like this whole series has been dark, but the first season is not as dark as season 2. But I feel like we're really getting to the past. So we're going to see a lot of stuff of the past that I think is pretty cool. Like, I mean, look at Ida's mother when she was trying to cure her. She's like, basically, I'm going to cure her if I have to rip it out of her. That's pretty dark, you know? So I don't know. I think it's a thing. And the showrunners wouldn't be able to talk about it unless they wanted to jeopardize their professional jobs. Yep. I mean, I look at it like the CW's treatment of representation. They say they do it, but the writing tells a different story. So it's a thing. It is a thing. All right, guys, we're at 31 minutes. So this has been very cool. Thank you for joining me for this stream. If you have any theories or have any questions or comments about the Owl House, especially episode 6, like what's going on with Hunter, who you think Belos actually is, how cool was Principal Bump's hair? What do you think of having another ship potentially being added to the mix in the Owl House universe, since Luce is a bisexual character? Just let me know what you think about all that stuff in the comments below. I am still going to be doing my Kung Fu stream. I'm just trying to see if I'm going to be able to do it today or if it's going to have to be moved to tomorrow, basically because of work issues. But it is coming. And I also, for my approach to Yuri, I am doing an Abby Mel video. So be on the lookout. It will be posted hopefully by tomorrow night, if not by Monday morning. But there will be an Abby Mel video in the future for you guys because I have to talk about Abby Mel. Just got to. There, but it's going to be on the Approach to Yuri channel. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to that one because we need to talk about Abby Mel. All right, guys. Yito, I did see that in the comments. Put in the details of the indie film. I did see that, so please do. And all of you guys, if it is your morning or afternoon, have a good day. If it is evening for you, have a good night. And I will see you in the next video and in the next stream.